Hi everyone, I am back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist and I'm creating a video every day for years. This is video 259. Thank you so much for being here with me today or tonight, whenever you catch this. It is in the morning, 11:52 a.m. I never do videos in the morning anymore, so I really want to try to just switch things up every now and again. I'm at the kitchen table on my other camera, so I'm just trying new things out again. So getting bored, with the same format. And if I'm bored, you guys might be bored too. So I'll switch it up sometimes in the future. So today I wanted to talk about living in the end, as we've talked about multiple times, but really remembering to act as if you already have something, act as if you already are the person that has what you're wanting, and like living like that all day long as much as you can, practicing it. We are so stuck in our heads from everything we've already been through in the past. So I want you to remember you can start over at every moment. So it does not matter what happened yesterday. It does not matter what happened 15 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago, or even just say, okay, I'm choosing right now to start over. Even if you have to say that 100 times in one day or 1,000 times in one day, it's okay to do that. Just be very kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself and decide what you're wanting. If you don't know what you want exactly, decide how you want to feel. Because a lot of times most people know how they want to feel. They want freedom, they want peace, they want happiness, they want joy, they want love, excitement. I love excitement and peace. I like both. I like both extremes. And so we can have peace and excitement exist at the same time. So figure out what it is that you're wanting and then act all day as if you already have that and live from that. Because remember that what you're wanting, the only reason you're wanting it is because you want to feel a certain way. And as I've been studying all these laws for years and years, a couple decades, it really finally solidified in my mind the last couple years that the more you live from those feelings and you act as if you're that person already as you're living your daily life, you're training yourself to fire and wire these neurons in your brain. This is all neuroscience, where the more you think about something, the more you're going to wire it in your brain. And your brain's like, oh, okay, I believe this. This is true. And then your brain looks for evidence for this thing everywhere. So that's why you'll start to see red cars. If you start thinking about red cars, you'll start to see them everywhere because you're just aware of red cars now. It's in your consciousness. It's in your awareness. So that's the spiritual side, is it's in your consciousness. You're aware of it. But the neuroscience side says, it's your reticular activation system. It's like it's going to find, or activating system. It's going to find evidence of whatever you're thinking. That's just how the brain works. The brain is looking for a solution to a problem as well. So your brain's always going to look for, even if you have a perceived problem, it's going to start to look for solutions for you. And so we've got to train it, all that aside, we've got to train the brain and the mind where we want them to go. Because if we don't, the brain is going to say, here, come with me. And we've got to say, no, you're coming with me. We're going to decide how we're going to think and feel today. And I've just seen so many people throughout my life, and I've been one of them, that would just kind of go on a roller coaster of emotion. And I'm addicted to being busy. I think a lot of us are. And busy in our own ways. And I heard the quote from someone, I can't remember who it was. I heard it on John Deloney's show the last couple days, but he said, if being busy is your drug, then relaxing basically, it will feel like stress to you. If you're used to being so busy and everything's in chaos all the time, when you relax and rest, it's going to feel like a stressor for you. Because you're so used to, being addicted to basically like a drug addict, to being busy. And that's what we're doing. It's just another way to distract ourselves from ourselves. So, and I have that trouble too. I've always been very ambitious, very goal-oriented, always had something to do, always been striving for something, always been striving to be better, a better me. And at some point, we've got to say, you know what, there's nothing wrong with all of that. We want to do those things, but we also need to incorporate rest and making sure that we're taking care of our minds and our thoughts and our beliefs. Because to me, that's the most important thing, other than, obviously we have to work, we have to take care of bills, we have to do the practical things that humans have to do. But we can do those things with joy rather than misery. We can choose to do that. We just have to program ourselves to look at things differently. And so it's all about how you are perceiving everything around you. And I really think it does start with how we see ourselves, the self-concept in relation to everything around us. How are you speaking to yourself? That's the main thing that I talk about with people. If I can get my thoughts out today. It's Sunday. The brain has slowed down. I've got to take some breaks today. So after this video, I'm going to drink my coffee and rest the brain. And the Super Bowl's on, but I don't know if I'm going to watch that tonight. I don't think we're doing that. We're doing something else. I don't know. But anyway, I put on here in my notes, the Fire and Wire Challenge. Say what you want until you get it. So start saying, hey, I've got this already. I am this already. And just say it enough times and you'll start to believe it. I promise you. It's one of those things I think we think this stuff is BS. Like the manifestation stuff and all these, like, just think positively and all these things. We think it's crap because we don't practice it enough. People will say, well, I've been doing this for years. And it's like, well, I guarantee you haven't been having a pure thought for years or else things would have changed. So, but we also have to remember that what is relevant for us is important too. And whatever's relevant for you may not be relevant for me. And what works for me may not work for you. But again, I'm going to give you my best things that have helped me out so much and have helped other clients of mine, hundreds of clients that I've seen over the years, and help them change their minds and how they see themselves. And I think there's nothing better than starting with yourself as a foundational piece, because if you see yourself in a great light and you start to feel better during your day, you can build on that. You can't build on sand. You can't build on a faulty foundation that's cracked. You've got to create something that feels great, and you got to raise your standards. That's the biggest thing, is raising your standards for yourself and deciding what type of person do you want to be. Not comparing to anybody else, just comparing to yourself. How was I last year? How was I the year before? Where have I grown? Take inventory of all those things. Do an audit on yourself. Do a life audit, do a thought audit about how do I think during the day? What do I think about during the day? How do I speak to myself? And why do I speak to myself that way? Why do I believe the things that I believe? Where do they even come from? A lot of them are just lies. I think that if it's something negative, it's a lie. If it's something positive, keep believing that. Be delusional, as they say, be delusional. Sometimes I just feel like I'd rather be delusional in my head than like miserable in my head, because I know what miserable feels like. And I don't want to feel like that. And I also don't want to think about things the way that everybody else does. I've always kind of had my own, drum beat going in the background. And I used to think that that was bad and that I was a sucky person or something, and that I just didn't know what I was talking about and people didn't like me and all. I used to just program myself with all these lies. And none of it was true. And I just decided I'm just going to be myself, finally, and whoever likes me, and whoever doesn't. And that's okay, because we're not for everybody. So authenticity is very important too. Figure out who you are. A lot of people come to me and ask, who am I? How do I figure out who I am? And I think it just starts with, going back. I always like to start with childhood, because there are some good things in childhood, I'm sure, for you. And there were some things that really lit you up and got you excited. Like I was talking about dance yesterday, and I was also on the Pom Squad 6th through 8th grade. So we did competitive dance, and it was so fun. We won almost every competition, and we won a nationals competition actually in 8th grade. And it was just I just remember it being so adrenaline pumping and so fun to be on a stage and dancing. And so that kind of excitement, I can go back to that memory of that day and remember what that felt like. And you kind of put yourself into that feeling, and then you kind of recreate that during your days. You can either go back to the memory of something, or you can create a new memory that hasn't even happened yet, but create it in your consciousness and it has happened. And then you can go back to it as a memory, because your brain and body do not know the difference in between something that's happening now and something that happened before, or something that hasn't happened yet. So that's why I love to just think about things that light you up, that get you excited, that get you feeling happy. And then you can use those experiences and those feelings to create your future from that. And that's a good foundation to start from too. And remembering that everything is a version that you are choosing every moment. And so I think it's just the easiest place to start is with yourself. How am I speaking to myself? Am I being kind to myself? Treat yourself like you're a little, 3-month-old baby, and give yourself grace and mercy and love, and just say, okay, what would I tell a little, or a 3-year-old? I don't know. What would I tell a little girl or a little boy that is inside me that needs something and maybe never got it? And what are you wanting that you never got? And a big question is, what are you waiting to do that you really want to be doing? And I have something that I've been waiting to do. And I think there's a perfect timing for everything for each individual person. But sometimes you got to really have a come to Jesus with yourself and say, am I procrastinating? Or is there actually a perfect time? And am I self-sabotaging? And that's another thing to ask yourself. So we've got to just check in with ourselves. Do not be afraid to get to know you, because when you get to know you, you can harness that power that you didn't even know that you had in so many ways that you didn't even know that you could. And so I think this is going to be a big year for all of us, just talking about this and getting, just feeling better. I just want everybody to feel better. I see so many people that just have a roller coaster of emotion, and it's like, let's feel good all the time. Why not? This is our life. You're living right now in this moment, and just choose to feel good. And because we've basically chosen to feel bad and we're addicted to it. That's what's happened for so many years. We've just chosen that. And I want to tell you, you have chosen that to empower you, not to blame you or make you, shame you at all. That's not ever the intention. It's just when you know that information, it's like, wow, I chose this. I can choose something else. And since I was choosing this so much, it became an addiction, and I didn't know it. And I was addicted to this emotion, and then my body became addicted to the emotion. And it just starts at that root cause of what am I thinking about all the time? And watch what you're saying. Words are spells. So it's like, if we're blaming, complaining, I completely stop myself now if I'm going there. If I'm thinking of blaming or complaining, I guess it would be complaining about, oh, I'm stressed. That was something, oh my God, the word stressed, or I feel stressed, or I am stressed. Oh my God, I said that for years. And it's like, I was choosing things to do that were stressing me. I was choosing to do that, thinking that I had to do that. But remember that all possibilities exist. You're not stuck where you are. It might seem like you are, and it might seem like, oh, there's this option or this option. That is so not true. If you just go inside your mind and start practicing feeling better on a daily basis and start to create these scenes in your mind of things that haven't happened yet, you'll start to make your brain and body feel like they have happened. And you'll start to not even go back to those old thoughts anymore. And pretty soon reality will conform, and it'll start showing you signs, and boom, you're going to see some big things that happen because you've changed internally really big time. So it's just a practice, and I'll keep reminding you every day, because I have to remind myself, and I have to remind clients all the time. And it's just, we're humans, and we just have things happen. And so, but know that you are in more control than you could ever imagine that you're in control. So start imagining that you're in control. And I want you to also ask myself, what is the standard I'm holding myself to? Because we've got to set a higher standard for ourselves if we want to feel better. We've got to say, I deserve to feel better. That's a big thing for people. Some people don't feel like they deserve to feel better. We're holding on to stories that happened 10, 20 years ago. I don't want you to hold on to anything anymore. I want to give you that freedom to say, I can drop this. I no longer have to carry this. It's okay. I can let this go, and I can choose to be my new self today. And you say that to yourself enough, you're going to start to believe it, I promise. So keep practicing. I could ramble, but I'm going to let you go. I think that's all I wanted to say today. Let me see. There's so many good things. I wanted to just give so much more, but I think that might be all. Yeah, I think that's about it. So anyway. Oh, if you say you're going to do something, do it. Show up for yourself. That's another way to raise your standard and trust in yourself. When you decide something and you tell yourself, hey, I'm going to do this. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, I'm going to do this tomorrow. It's like, we don't have trust anymore in ourselves. So show up for yourself, create that higher standard, and think about what are my daily habits that are keeping me from the things I want to be doing. We'll keep talking about this. That's so much. That's a whole other video. What habits do we have? Ooh, think about your habits. Think about your habits of thought, though. It always starts with thought. We can do all the things that they say to do to be healthy and happy, but we've got to change the thoughts. That's where it starts. Thoughts are spells. Words are spells. Beliefs are spells. Everything's a spell. That's why this channel is called Life Spells. So anyway, I'll let you go. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your weekend and start to the week. And I will be back tomorrow. And remember that you are so loved. Pass that on to somebody else who needs to hear it today. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.